Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back to I Allegedly. And I've got a good one for you today because, you know, we're going to talk about banking and why your bank most likely is not going to survive during the next year. So please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget we have a private channel called I Allegedly Live where we talk about all the uncensored stuff. But let's get right into it. In 2025, there have already been 118 bank mergers, far surpassing 2024. And of these bank mergers, you've got a staggering amount of combined assets of $23 billion already. And this surpasses 2024 by far. And they say in the next year, you're going to have $100 billion worth of bank mergers happening. Now, one thing that seems that we talk about on a regular basis is the fact that your branch is going away. Now, you can go bank with certain places that don't have branches like Capital One. They have their little cafes. Go in there and try to make a deposit. They don't have, regular deposits. I tried to talk to them about an account. It was ridiculous. Wait a second, you guys have a coffee shop here, but you can't take a deposit. No, they're all done online. Well, why have the Capital One cafes? That's what the future of banking is going to be. Hey, I need a cashier's check. Yeah, we can issue you a check. We don't have cashier's checks. That's going to be the future of this, guys. So all the regulatory climate has shifted, with the new Trump administration to have all these different procedures and different mandatory cuts. And it's created a problem because they're starting to compare things that are happening now back to Silicon Valley Bank. Guys, that was 2.5 years ago when that bank went out of business. And they're saying, hey, we went out and we raised the FDIC amount, from $250,000 and just covered everybody's account. But we can't do that again on a regular basis. No, they did it because it was tech and rich people and not you and I. You and I would have been stuck holding the bag if we had more than 250 grand in a bank account. But these rich fat cats and friends of the former administration got their money back. Okay. So it didn't matter, what I mean? There was no need for insurance for that, So starting to see this happen more and more, more and more the regional banks. If you have a smaller bank, these are the banks that have the problems. The big ones, Citibank, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase, those are not going to go out of business. Will they take over some other banks? Maybe. But again, most people don't bank with those banks because they hate them. They'd rather deal with somebody where they know the manager or they can get a check approved. Hey, don't hold this for, this deposit too long. Those other banks, unless you have a tremendous amount of money, you really are nobody, but you still need to have a relationship with your bank. It's that simple. So Capital One acquired Discover for $35 billion, making Capital One one of the largest credit card issuers now in the world. So with that being said, what's going to happen with Discover Bank? Discover has its own bank accounts and its own checking accounts and savings accounts and things like that. So are they all going to be Capital One? Will people that have both accounts, will they have two banks? Who knows? Who knows, guys? I don't know the answer to that. PNC buying First Bank in Colorado and Arizona for $4 billion. They did that to extend their geographic footprint, to make themselves have a larger presence, nationally. Okay? So again, smaller banks merger, Huntington Vertex, Mechanics Bank Corp, and Home Street Bank. Again, little tiny branches, smaller, footprint. They're doing this just so that they can have a better presence. But again, you don't want to have just one bank, guys. We've talked about this till I'm blue in the face for the last 4 years. Smaller banks need to spread tech compliance, risk, and other fixed assets, even more volume. Consumers demand a digital tools and pressure on profit margins. Again, do you sit there and does anybody worry about it? Hey, is my bank, are they making good money right now? Nobody sits there and thinks about that. So even though there's volume, market reactions are mixed. Consumer advocacy concerns, large deals reduce competition and all this stuff. But here's the problem with banking right now is that they're not giving the service that they used to give. The long-term implications are that bank closures are going to reduce local service. Smaller banks often, you know, give more activity to rural areas and smaller places. You also want a bank that understands what you do, guys. And again, whether you're a farmer, you're a school teacher, doesn't make a bit of difference. How do you get paid? I know people that get paid once a month. You don't want that check being put on hold because I got to pay my rent. There's people that have to live with that. So it's going to shape the next 10 to 15 years. But I mean, I really get a kick out of this because what we've seen is more and more problems. The Silicon Valley Bank little debacle that they're talking about right now, that's pretty interesting, guys, because the FDIC right now, you know, what are they going to do? Are they going to raise the amount? And they're going to, these regulators say, hey, we have to do something. Why do you have to do anything? You should be worried that regulators say that there could be a problem with banking right now. Why? Why is there a problem all of a sudden? I thought, we were safe and everything was good with our $250,000 cap. It's not. You know, Jesse always sends me stuff. Jesse lives in Washington. He sends me newspaper clippings for my stories. And this couldn't be more timely because this morning when I opened my mail, Jesse had a bunch of good stuff that I'll cover over the next few days. But one of them was the return to office is a problem when it comes to banking and the banking industry. Now, here's the thing. Think about this industry. You have all these regulatory issues that keep coming up right now. And with the regulatory issues, they want these people to come and work in the office more and more. They don't want to work in the office. How about an industry where the average person is working 3 days a week inside the office? And internationally, including Canada, they want to get people to where they're at 4.1 to 4.2 days a week. Who talks that way? Hey, come in the office. So it's fascinating stuff. This was really good, but when it comes to all the mergers globally, and this goes to Europe, it goes to Italy. This industry is broken right now. And you've got all these big buildings and you've got all these people that are not going to the office. I mean, I love the, Spain's bank, BBVA is having a problem. You've got Intesa San Paulo in Italy. Same thing. Nobody wants to work right now. But don't worry, we just want to raise the insurance and we want to merge with one bank to the next. So again, guys, you're going to see banks go out of business and you have to protect yourself right now. This is the moral of the story. Look at all these stories down there and see everything that's being talked about right now because it is way, 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 way too much right now. So I find it fascinating. Lawmakers want to do a deposit backstop. You think about that. Why? Are our deposits not safe? It sounds like they're not, guys. So, let's talk about Silicon Valley Bank. Guys, it was 2.5 years ago. All these articles that came out in the same day on Friday. Okay? So this is it's a concern. Now, the other thing that we thought was crazy was Ray Dalio used to run Bridgewater Funds. He wants to raise a fund for people that are going to lose their job because of AI. Remember, hey, go code, learn to code, and you'll have a job. Well, you don't need to code, guys. Anybody can have a website for anything in literally 15 minutes. And Ray Dalio says we need to, get funds set up because only 1 to 10% of the people out there are going to be able to keep their jobs in the future, and people are not going to be able to maintain their lifestyles. Whoa. Okay, so let's develop a fund for everybody to go out and live free and have free lunch. Isn't that wild to think about? Now, I love Ray Dalio, but I mean, this one, it's from Fortune magazine. He's talking about this and how we just need to protect people because AI is going to take over. Well, again, guys, go learn AI. I'm telling you guys, every time I think I know about AI, there's so much more to it, and it's constantly changing right now. But again, you're going to lose your bank account. You're going to lose your job. You're not going to be able to earn a living. But the government should, worry about your bank deposits and write a check for everybody. I mean, you cannot make this stuff up. So You know, let me know what you think about this stuff. There has been an absolute ton of retail bankruptcies this year. And think about this, guys. I mean, I found a great article from the Sun talking about the retail bankruptcies in 2025. I'm telling you guys, nothing will be the same. Nothing. Nothing will be the same as we move forward. You know, when I talk to women about shopping, you know, and they like to go online and buy things from like Zappos and places like that, they will buy multiple shoes. I know, talked to multiple women that told me this. I like these shoes. I want to see if they're going to fit me. I may buy them, you know, I may buy 3 pairs with, you know, one size, half a size, and then the size up just to see which one's going to fit me. And then they'll just send them back. That, you know, that's crazy. Well, no one does that in a store. You don't sit there and take 3 pairs of shoes home. Let me see how they look with that dress. Ah, yeah, I'm going to take them back. Nobody does that. No, nobody, I don't think any store would sell you stuff like that. So, all these bankruptcies, there's been a slew of bankruptcies. And here is the thing, this is not the time of the year for this. You're gearing up for the holidays. You're gearing up for people to go out and spend money right now with Black Friday coming that will be non-existent this year, and it's going to be a real problem. But you're going to see banks go out of business between now and the end of the year, and you're going to see retailers go out of business between now and the end of 2025. Oh, man. You know, how about this? Retail crime is destroying businesses right now. How bad is retail crime right now? It's horrible. It's up 93% in the last 2 years. Retail crime is up 93%. Isn't that wild? That's horrible. And they're getting more and more innovative, and now they're starting to finally prosecute people. But the damage has been done to these stores. I hate shopping when I can't grab something. I hate having to wait for Sharon with her keys to come over and lock toothpaste. Okay? You know, terrible. I have friends that, hey, I'm going to the store. You want me to get you anything? Yeah, get me this. And I'll text over stuff. I'll buy dinner tonight if you bring me, you know, my hair gel and my toothpaste and this, and this. So I don't have to deal with it. Because I hate it, guys. I can't stand it. I have no patience for this stuff. And, you know, it's crazy. Think about this. What is the largest number of people that are committing crime? The highest age group of criminals right now, according to the FBI. Think about this. The most violent crimes, the most retail crime is done between 13 and 16-year-olds. Isn't that horrible? Where are these parents out there? You know? See, I love these crimes we hear about getting dabbled where the parents are going to get charged if the kids commit a crime and they're going to be held responsible. My kids never robbed a liquor store. They never went out and conceived of a crime to go rip off the electronics store and steal iPads and things like that. Oh, Dan, you don't understand. It's an inner city issue, Dan. No, it's not. It's a parental issue. Okay? You know, there's so many problems right now that people just don't want to look at, and it's terrible. And you have to have accountability for all of us. You really do. You know, take care of your home, take care of your security, take care of, you know, your neighborhood, have a neighborhood watch, communicate with your how many of you even know your neighbors? You know, I know mine, okay? And please watch out for the house. Look out for Rosie. And here's the thing, somebody gets inside the house, there's cameras and all that fun stuff, but then you got Rosie that would do serious damage to somebody if they weren't supposed to be there. And I know that, and that's the way it's supposed to be, guys. You're supposed to be able to protect your domicile, But I'm telling you, it's getting worse and worse and worse out there. It really is. And you, with all the other distractions and everything that's happening in the world right now, don't look at the banking industry. You have to look at the banking industry. You have to have multiple bank accounts. You have to have cash out of your bank right now. You need to be prepared if the bank was shut down. You need to be prepared with all this talk about power outages and the power companies going out of business. Why is this happening all of a sudden? What would you do if you could not pay a bill for 7 days? You could not get money out of your account for 7 days. What are you going to do? You have water? What if you live in a building where there's a water pump? What do they do if the power goes out? Seriously. Have you ever asked anybody about that? Well, Gene, the maintenance man, is so good, Dan. He would take care of us. Well, Gene's not going to have water at his house. Understand? Gene's not going to care about coming into work that time when the power goes out. That's what you have to understand. Prepping is knowledge too. You can store food. You can have, grenades. Okay, you can have whatever you want. But the point is that you have to be prepared to protect yourself. So let me know, guys. But this banking thing, this has got me concerned because there's too much of it at one time. And Jesse's, thank you for your story, Jesse, because it was really good timing. But internationally, you're having a problem. What if there's an international bank problem? What do we do at that point? Seriously. You guys have any clue? That would be a new one if it just went down globally. Couldn't transfer money. What a way to start your day. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Prepare, prepare, prepare. Be ready, be smart, educate yourself. The world is very easy right now to get educated with everything. You want to get a hold of me, it's hello@iallegedly.com. Make sure you're part of our email list. Make sure you are part of the private channel too. I love doing that content. There's well over 425 videos now on that. So like, subscribe. I'll see you soon. Onward and upward, guys. Make good choices. See you later.